Hi, this is Joe McNally with Adorama TV. In this next deconstruction series that I'm doing here, we're going to talk about using a small light in open shade in bright sun.
Adorama TV presents Photo on the Go with Joe McNally, where you'll go behind the scenes to see how great photos are made.
Hi, this is Joe McNally for Adorama TV. A reason I go to Adorama? It's a real store with real people, and I've got friends and associates there who have guided me through all my camera purchases for years. Okay, what's your best friend in blazing high noon daylight, which is the worst time of day that we all know about to shoot pictures? Open shade, all right? Either created open shade, you do it yourself by blocking the light off your subject or something like that, or you find open shade spontaneously, the side of a building, whatever it might be. Okay, at a mining company in Australia, I found open shade in a vehicle that really was the size of a building. These mining vehicles are enormous pieces of machinery. And I took one of the foremen and I kind of found a space where the sun was coming way overhead and casting a shadow off the machine down onto the ground, but it was fortuitously placed, the shadow, in an area where I could locate the foreman and then also see the rest of the machines in kind of a compressed graphic stack up. So I thought, okay, we can make this work. First shot I did was available light, open shade, which predictably is very flat. Now, the sun was playing a little bit of dodgeball up in the sky. It was going behind clouds and out of clouds, but it was predominantly sunny. But when I put him in that quality of open shade, the sun went behind some clouds and the whole thing was kind of soupy. So what I had to do was spark the light, okay? Spark him in that quality of shade so that it matched what was going to be the brightness of the sun when it came back out from the cloud. Okay, so let's take a look. The sun is up here, you know, way up high in the sky, right? Okay, Mr. Sun, there he is. The big machinery lineup is, say, right here. So there are all these huge blocky trucks all in a row. So I took my guy, the shadow obviously is being cast this way, right? So in front of the lead truck, I took my guy. I'm going to keep this fairly small, okay? Like, there he is, right there, okay? There's my guy in open shade. And I take a longer lens from this direction. In this case, I was using a 70-200 f2.8 Nikkor lens, and I was racked out to about 135. So fairly compressed view. What happens when you use longer glass, as you know, you get what's called compression. That means you're able to take repetitive elements, hopefully graphically pleasing repetitive elements, and stack them up. It's the way, you know, you go out on Fifth Avenue and there's 100 pedestrians on the sidewalk. You get up high, use a long lens, it looks like 1,000 pedestrians because they're all stacked up on top of one another. And that's roughly the effect or feel I was going for here with these mining trucks. So it really, in lots of ways, couldn't be simpler, or at least I tried to keep it simple because we're in this huge mining facility and you don't want to bring in lots of gear and have it all over the place because there's trucks and dust and heat and all that sort of stuff. So we used a paint pole. It's a Shurline paint pole, S-H-U-R-L-I-N-E. Okay, you can get them off of Amazon. And then we use a Kacey pole adapter. Okay, K-A-C-E-Y, all right? And we put a little Loctite in the screw-in end of the paint pole, screw on the Kacey pole adapter. Adorama actually carries the Kacey pole adapters now. You can get them directly off the website. So they tighten up, you know, they don't spin around. And then I put a Lastolite Speed-Lite Ezybox on there. It's this guy right here. And it is, it's a cool little light. It collapses down really well, all right? So it's got an interior baffle. So inside here, there's a layer of diffusion as well as the exterior diffusion. I leave my dome diffuser on my Speedlight and stuff it in the back of this. So it's pretty portable, pretty handy, you know, and very, you know, collapsible, stuffable light. So that's what I used on this. I put a Justin clamp on the end of the paint pole and then put an SB 900 in there, okay, into one of these guys, and also used an SD9 battery pack because, again, I'm fighting bright sun. I'm asking the flash for a lot of effort or a lot of power, so the external battery pack is in a position to really help me on this. So, position of the light, okay, again, I've already described, simple, paint bowl, TTL transmission to the light on the paint pole. So camera angles here with a commander flash, based on the hot shoe right here. And what we're doing here is taking the paint pole, hand holding it, okay, with a person over here, a VAL, voice activated light stand. And the little Speed-Lite box is at the end of this paint pole, and we're firing at our subject in this direction because I have him looking profile because the peak of his hard hat and all of that kind of had a certain symmetry graphically with the angularity of all the machinery. So I had him looking profile this way, away from camera. So if my camera's there, he's looking this way, and he's looking right into the Speed-Lite box. And here's the thing, I have to jack the power of that Speed-Lite box up, okay? So I'm really translating as much power as I possibly can get into that light, because my final on this, I was in high-speed sync. I was at 800, let me double check this, okay? 135 millimeter lens, f8 at 800th of a second. I'm at ISO 100, okay? And the light is popping in there and doing its job in the sense that just edging him out in a minimal fashion. Right, so I just need that like hard little pop of light in there to match the quality of hard light, that I'm seeing in the background of the photograph, but I'm able to spark him. If I needed to expose him in open shade, all right, so he's in heavy shade and there's bright sun in the background, if I did not supply additional light, I'd have to expose for him in that open shade quality. And what happens to my background? It goes to highlight heaven. It just blows out. So now what I'm doing is I'm minusing out the overall light in the scene, right? Because bright sunlight, I put him in open shade. So I make the quality of light for him very subdued, but then with flash, I replace that light. I augment the quality or level of light that's hitting him. So I'm able to bring him back into an exposure area that is similar to the bright sun. So it's, again, this game, as I always say, the game of ratios. What exists and what do you supply with flash that affects what exists? In summation, all right, what we did here was very simple. Subject in open shade, graphic of the machines in the background, and then spark the subject who's in that quality of open shade with a little hard pop of light coming from, as I've already explained, a Speed-Lite Ezybox that's made by Lastolite on a paint pole with a Kacey pole adapter, okay? And so it's right there, you can see it, okay? The angle of the light is right into his face, a profile light. And I'm translating a signal from my commander to the remote light, and we're done. I like the picture. It's kind of a good corporate graphic picture, type of picture that you would come up with as a portrait in the field for a kind of heavy industry type of company. So once again, Joe McNally for Adorama TV, okay, talking about, an open shade situation that you replace the light with a small softbox. All right, we talked about the minimal equipment that you need to do this, and it's all available at Adorama.
For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. Place your order by 8 p.m. and it ships the same day. Plus, next time you're in New York City, be sure to visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.